morning. It's the start of a beautiful day.
Welcome to People's Voice on VOP TV. Thank God it's Friday. Yes, and I believe you're actually enjoying your Friday out there. We're actually doing that same here. And shout out to Idabasi. Congratulations for that particular feat you're about to do. I wish you the very best and hoping that we'll celebrate together very soon. All right, welcome on board. Yes, of course, it is People's Voice on VOP TV where citizen stories shape the narrative. Today, we're dissecting two major stories that are dominating the headlines and sparking conversation across the nation. ADC says, don't judge us by the by-election losses. And the second story, Rivers State resets. Join the conversation with expert insight and citizens' perspective. Share your thoughts with us. I am Savior Udo. Other news stories with details. Bauchi uncovers over 100 ghost workers. The Bauchi state government has discovered more than 100 ghost workers in the state's health sector and vowed to punish them under civil service rules. According to Sambo Alkali, executive chairman of Bauchi State Hospital Management Board, the names of the identified ghost workers will be submitted to Governor Bala Muhammad for sanction. This is not a news anymore. It's not new. In every sector, okay, in the civil service, this is the norm, okay, where including some PS, you know, some directors who get to write some names under their department and saying these people are working and blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, you just realize that they've just been paying some people that never existed anywhere. If the governor would take this up, I would sincerely, okay, support whatsoever sanctions that it would actually pass on them. Because all of this particular corruption in this country needs to stop. And it needs to start from us before it gets to the government. So while we're doing our own, let the government also do theirs, okay? So that we can have a balanced nation and a better country. Not a situation where we are complaining or we are attacking or we are blaming a particular government or a particular administration that they are doing this, they are doing that. Yet, within us, individually, you know, togetherly, we're actually doing what is even worse than that. And this was the reason why while I was talking to my friend some time ago, I said something. I said that you can actually blame any government for whatsoever that is going on in terms of corruption and all of that. But the question I have to ask you is that if you're opportune to be in that particular position, would you do same or not? If you have the opportunity, would you decide to keep your integrity intact and not do or indulge yourself in such corruption? How did we get here? People's money, you know, we are owing several workers, you know, gratuities are not being paid in some states. Yet, some certain people, you know, came together as cohorts to decide to put names of people in the Civil Service Commission to get paid. And they are ghost workers. They are not existing anywhere, meaning they are not even working. They are not doing these jobs. So they need to be sanctioned. His Excellency Bala Muhammad, we expect more from you in this particular situation. And once you sanction them, of course, I'll come on air to also talk about it. Moving on from that, Kaduna Governor flags off Jaba Koi Road reconstruction project. Kaduna State Governor Uba Sani has launched the reconstruction of Jaba Koi Road, a vital economic artery in southern Kaduna. The project is part of the state's broader infrastructure program aimed at boosting rural transformation and improving connectivity. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for that particular one. Of course, we've all had our reservations about the past administration, talking about Nasir El-Rufai, because as at the time he was the governor of Kaduna. Of course, I lived also in Kaduna before his time and after, while he was still there. Okay, and it looked like the southern Kaduna was actually abandoned for a very long period of time. I'm talking about the Kudende, the Gamji, and the Kaukuri. okay, the Agua extension. But thank you for you to start with the Southern Kaduna now, for you to deem it fit to say you want to do all of this particular one, connecting to Abuja axis. It shows that you've actually remembered the Southern Kaduna as promised, because I read in your manifesto when you were to be voted in as the governor. So thank you for keeping to your words and hoping that you will do more for the people of Kaduna State. And away from that, Nupeng Dangote clash, fuel scarcity looms. Is it still looming? You know, it's already here because one thing about Nigerians, once they have the opportunity, of course, they get to skyrocket everything. A fragile peace between the Nigerian Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers, Nupeng, and Dangote Petroleum Refinery has collapsed, sparking a heated industrial dispute that threatens fuel supply stability in Nigeria. Nupeng has accused Dangote of reneging on a memorandum of understanding, MOU, signed on September 9th, which granted tankers drivers the right to freely unionize. And it is looking like Dangote are actually using their own hands to cause this particular issue. Hoping that they will sort it this time around, and hoping that the federal government would actually sort it, because the last time that this fragile peace was enacted or was brought in, it was through the office of the DSS, which for me, I was expecting a broader picture of settlement. So if the federal government can really come in now and not just allow DSS to settle this particular situation, I think this will be better. And away from that, 2025 budget implementation to begin by end of September. The federal government has announced that the implementation of the 2025 national budget would commence by the end of September, as the execution of 2024 fiscal plan windows down. The 54.99 trillion budget, tagged budget of restoration, aims to stimulate economic growth, improve public service, and attract investment across the states. These particular budgets that were actually tagged budget of restoration, please let it be for that restoration and not restoring the politicians' seats or their cars, not renovating it. Let it actually be for the economic growth of the people. Please, we beg you, federal government. Implementation is always our problem. We can speak all the English we can, or we have to, or we know in Nigeria. But when it comes to implementation, sometimes it is a lacuna for us. But hoping that God will help us this time around. And away from that, the reigning man of the people, Peter Obi meets former President Jonathan in closed-door talks. The Labour Party's 2023 presidential candidate, Peter Obi, held a closed-door meeting with former President Goodluck Jonathan in Abuja on Thursday. Obi described the meeting as fruitful and said they discussed the state of the nation. The meeting has sparked speculation about possible political realignment ahead of 2027 general election. I think at this point, there is nothing I can say about these people, because it's looking as if they are actually using us to play chess. One day, one of them is in ADC meeting, you know, having talks with the coalition and all of that. And the next thing we're hearing that, oh, PDP are trying to woo these two people. And the other day we're hearing that, oh, they're telling Obi to step down for Jonathan to go on behalf of PDP. Another time again, Labour Party is saying Obi is still with us, is not with the coalition people. What do we believe? I don't even know. But of course, they are closed-door meeting, hoping it will yield a good result. And still this particular man that has been going through a lot in the hands of the EFCC, Male Kyari, breaks silence after EFCC questioning. Former Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL Group Managing Director, GMD, Male Kyari, has spoken out after being questioned by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, during his tenure. Kyari declared, "I have done my part. The EFCC must do theirs. When each of us does our duty without fear or favor, with honor, respect, and commitment, Nigeria moves forward." I believe we all understand what he's actually saying. He said he has done his part, and over to the EFCC now to do theirs. And what does that mean? Without fear or favor. Have you mentioned the names of people that looks or seems untouchable? Of course, everybody should go down. If the former CBN governor, Emefiele, can be going through all of whatsoever is going through now, so who and who is enjoying immunity? EFCC, please do your job. Because this is our money. That's all I can say about that. ADC leadership crisis. The Federal High Court in Abuja has ordered the Senator David Mark-led leadership of African Democratic Congress, ADC, to appear before its September 15, okay, to show cause why the Independent Electoral Commission, INEC, should not be barred from recognizing it. Please, I think I'll just have to look into this particular one again. The ADC, they've actually been enjoying a very good run, not until a set of people sued Dave Mark to court, challenging the reason why INEC should make him the interim national chairman. Okay, so the case has been in court, and it's been appeared that the court has asked them to come on the 15th to give reasons why he should be the interim national chairman. Okay, hopefully the court would actually rule about that. The court's ruling came after a suit filed by 3 aggrieved members, Party Adeyemi Emmanuel, Ayodeji Tolu, and Haruna Ismaila, challenging the appointment of Mark and Rauf Aregbesola as national chairman and national secretary respectively. So this is actually another conversation that when I heard it, I only giggled because ADC, the coalition team just started, and you're already facing all of this particular thing. PDP is going through their own, Labour Party is going through their own as well, and now the coalition group. Don't you think that when this whole house had been divided the way you guys are going, you're only giving APC a safe passage to go to where they want to go to? Well, I'm not against, neither am I in support of anybody. I'm just a broadcast journalist doing my job here. But of course, you should fix your home and settle whatsoever that needs to be settled as regards your political party. And when we say coalition, it means that peace was meant to be the order of the day for everyone to actually have a proper understanding why you should follow the course and the goal of that particular party. But if all of that is actually truncated, then there is no need for you to say you want to contest under that particular political party. And away from that, Senator Natasha's reinstatement deadline looms. Senator Natasha Akpoti-Oduaghan's lawyer, Michael Numas Essien, has given the clerk to the National Assembly a September 15 deadline to reinstate her or face contempt proceedings. The Nigerian Labour Congress, NLC, and the People's Democratic Party, PDP, are backing Akpoti-Oduaghan, criticizing the Senate's refusal to comply with a court ruling that allows her to resume her legislative duty. I think it is oversaid already, and there is nothing else we want to call this than just bullying a woman. That's all. Because I see no reasons why you cannot allow her to resume her job. Her people elected her to represent them. So she's actually served that 6 months suspension. She's back. Allow her to do her job, please. That's what I can say. To join the conversation, kindly call the number 090-447-32605. 090-447-32605. Follow us on social media at VOPTV Live. You can use the hashtag People's Voice on VOPTV. On YouTube, we are Voice of the People. Kindly hit the subscribe button, and together we can make our voices heard. It is time for us to go on a quick break. As soon as we return, we would actually go straight to the first headline. Don't judge us by the by-election losses. Say it's ADC. Don't go nowhere, stay tuned, please. I'll be right back.
We encourage you to click on the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel, We are Voice of the People TV. Also follow us on all our social media platforms. We are at VOP TV Live. Visit our website www.vop.ng for fresh and trending news. Also watch us live on SLTV channel 264. VOP TV, Voice of the People Television.
What happens in the hush behind hangar doors? Who signs the papers that gamble with lives? Which truths were grounded before they even ever had wings? If you've ever buckled a seatbelt at 30,000 feet, if you've ever stared out of that tiny window and wondered who's really in control of the skies, it isn't just flight, it's power, it's politics, it's pressure sealed in steel. We're peeling back the clouds from runway risks to sky-high secrets. We're diving deep where most dare not to look. Aviation Scope, every Sunday at 7 p.m. only on Voice of the People TV. We don't just report, we reveal. We don't just ask, we uncover. Because when it comes to the skies, ignorance is turbulence. Aviation Scope, the sky isn't the limit, it's just the beginning.
All right, welcome back to the program. Yes, it is still People's Voice on VOP TV. This is the story now. Don't judge us by the by-election losses. Says ADC. The African Democratic Congress, ADC, has asked Nigeria not to judge the party based on its performance in the August 16 by-elections, where it failed to win any seats. The party's National Publicity Secretary, Bolaji Abdullahi, said the elections came too soon after the party's leadership transition and shouldn't be used to gauge the party's potential. Abdullahi explained that the party wasn't electorally ready and didn't know most of the candidates who contested under its platform. He emphasized that the party's priority is building a mass party rather than chasing immediate victories. The ADC had attributed its poor performance in the by-election to widespread of violence, vote buying, irregularities allegedly perpetrated by the ruling party, the APC, okay? And the party has called for investigations into these claims. We're now being joined by Dr. Mobolaji Ogba Molla, a businessman, politician, and a political analyst. I don't know why he keeps or he prefers to be addressed as doctor, but he's actually an honorable. But it's okay, we'll leave it at that. You're welcome, doctor, to the show.
Thank you for having me. Good afternoon, viewers.
You're welcome on board. Yeah. It's quite striking that we are wearing almost same shades of color, okay? So do we have a party to attend?
Probably.
Okay, in this particular situation, of course, you are neither here or there. When I use the word you are neither here or there, you belong to a particular political party, of course, and I wouldn't know because everyone is actually playing, will I say the underdog in this particular season, where they are not actually coming out or saying where they are going to. Some are still in this party and we know they are here, or some are not even moving yet, but hoping to move later. Of course, I know you might not really have a relationship as per se in the ADC, in as much as you might have friends, you might have your other counterparts and colleagues who are already in the party. But what can you actually say about that particular statement, the ADC being disturbed and telling us, the Nigerians, not to lose hope in them, not to be bothered about their losses in the by-election, still wanting us to have hope that they can, of course, do something better. And they're actually saying that they weren't ready as at the time, okay, and what they are really pushing for is for them to get something even more better and to have a stronger structure. So what can you say about the foundation of ADC?
The ADC, as it's composed at the moment, it's not chasing, like they said in their statements by the statement accredited to Bolaji Abdullahi, saying they are not ready for mini or small elections. They're poised for the general election. And, you know, that is what the coalition basically it's all about. You know, getting the ruling party out of... You don't chase small flies when you have the big
When
fish.
you use the word, you don't chase small flies when you have something bigger or you have a bet to catch. So are you saying that the grassroots politics to ADC does not matter or it's not important? That's in terms of
politics
local government.
is very local.
So,
it's very local.
Are you saying that the House of Assembly, House of Reps does not matter to them?
It does.
So why is it that you all are bothered about the big election?
Because there are ripple effects.
Okay.
There are ripple effects. As it is now, you have governors and states who would support their candidates. You have a ruling party at the federal who would do anything to remain in power.
What did you mean by who would do anything to remain in power?
No,
Please, this is people's voice.
Yeah.
So here we don't hold anything back.
I mean, it's
we actually
obvious.
come out and we say whatsoever
it's obvious.
So if you have some of the reservations,
look at what is happening to the opposition parties. Look at what is happening to PDP. Look at what is happening to Labour. Look at what they're trying to do now with all these court cases in regards to ADC.
Because it's just too soon for ADC to start having such court cases.
Exactly. Now,
so are you feeling
I'll take you back to last year. Obviously, it is.
Please go ahead.
I'll take you back to 2024 when Governor Seminary Fubara, when he had this,
getting to his case.
when he had this election, the local government election, and they brought out the local government candidates that were apparently supported by the states were in AA. A similar court case came after because then they didn't know the direction the coalition was going. So they felt AA, and the next thing we saw court cases in regards to AA's leadership.
And all the elections were nullified.
Well, we know all that. We know the politics behind that. You know, we know the. So it's like ADC, as you see the leadership of the party, the national leaders, you know. Senator David Mark has been former governor, former minister. It's the longest serving Senate president we've ever had in the country. He served 2 terms, 8 years. And we have His Excellency Ralph Aregbesola, who's been governor, he's been commissioner, he's been minister. Well-versed politicians with
we actually missed
unlimited research.
We actually missed His Excellency Ralph Aregbesola being the Minister of Interior, because whenever he comes out with his pictures like this, we know there's a public holiday coming. Okay, so back to this conversation. How might the recent leadership transition in ADC impact its electoral performance in the future of elections?
ADC is the new bride of the electorates, or rather, new politicians. You can see, even with all the shenanigans of the ruling party trying to muscle them, trying to suppress them, you see the enthusiasm of the people coming out. There was a recent event that was meant to hold in Alemosho, and it was shameful. I was like, when did we get to this? You know, if APC were given the leverage and the liberty to come together in 2014 to form their coalition and challenge the ruling party then, PDP, to the extent they won the election. Why shouldn't you do that with ADC? Why all this Muslim? Look at the incident in Kaduna with His Excellency Nasir El-Rufai and the attacks. We've had some in Lagos as well, and it's all around like that, you know.
Don't you think that of El-Rufai was based on how he also said some things against a few people? Because I just feel El-Rufai is just creating unnecessary enemies for himself. But of course, I stand to be corrected.
Oh, well. Politicians...
You know, he was also invited by the Nigerian police, okay? Yeah, the state command.
The statement was after the incident. I'm sure it was the one about monopoly of...
yes.
Yeah, that was after the incident.
But before the incident, he had said so much, not just about the federal government, to his own successor of the states. You can't bring someone out today, or you raise someone's hand today and say he's good, he's better, he's this. And tomorrow, when you feel like out of play, or you are feeling like you've been abandoned or something, or you're not getting what you were planning to get, then all of a sudden, the same person is now an enemy. The same person is now a devil. The same person is now a corrupt person. So you saw all of these things, or you knew all of these things, yet you gave us this particular person. This is the reason that, this is one of my reasons that, for me, I am still looking at ADC as a place where the serious people are accommodating the unserious people. Because half of the people that are going there, they've also come out some time ago and let us know that APC is the Messiah.
Yeah, well, you know what they say about choices, each with his or her own. This incident about His Excellency Nasir El-Rufai and his successor, I would relate it to two different instances.
Please go ahead.
I would relate it to the Ganduje Kwakwaso incident.
Yes.
You know.
You can even relate it to our Lagos.
You will, and I'll relate it to the Fubara Wike issue as well. Now you see
the Ambode. Yes, go ahead.
You know,
you can mention it. Yes.
In Kano, Kwakwaso was going to run for president, and the governor then.
Sorry, please hold your thoughts, Doctor. Hello. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. This is Aina on the line, calling you from Lagos.
Okay, Aina, please go ahead.
Now, I want to disagree with your analyst.
Okay.
By the way, let me start. You look very handsome today. Please forgive me. You look very handsome today. But let's start with your ADC. I want to totally disagree with your analyst.
Okay.
Now, I called, I think was it Okoro some few weeks ago, before the election, and I said I did not see any tangible, any reputable person in ADC to really contest power with Tinubu. And it just like I said it, the last election showed they fumbled and wumbled, and that is how they will fumble and wumble till eternity. Now let us look at ADC critically. Do they have reputation to present to Nigerians? Do they have that reputation? We all know them, and I told you. Remember, I told you once that they will feather away. The speed they came out is the speed they will feather away. Have you heard of Tambawa ever since EFCC have shaked him up a little? Have you heard of him again? He just fiddled up, and it's like they shaked him up a little, and they ran into his hole.
No, but Inaya.
Beautiful, thank you. I'm listening.
But for that of Tambawa, I am not in support of whatsoever that the ruling party actually did. And I actually read, I read that particular news, I think 4 days ago, where the APC came out to say that they are not using the EFCC or any financial sector to winch hunt anybody. But this is looking like the obvious, because the Adaso Shomole once said that if you cross over to APC, your sins are forgiven. Do you know the meaning of that statement? So for them to shake Tambawa, you should understand better, but please go ahead.
But if you want to come to judge anybody, if you want to judge Tinubu of being unrighteous, you yourself should not be should not be unclean.
Obviously.
Before you remove a moth in somebody's eye, you must first of all remove the beam in your own eyes.
That would be my issue with
ADC. does not have credibility. And I mark my word, as I said, just as I've told Okoro, the speed they came out is the speed they will disappear. And look at leadership tussle. Today is David Mark leadership, tomorrow is not David Mark. And you think that this crop of corrupt people will survive to the next election? I bet you. Let's see how they will end. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, Inaya. Okay, so before I allow Doctor continue, so Inaya, I have to just mention this. In as much as ADC is going through a lot right now, or they are about to go through a lot, that doesn't mean that they wouldn't put their house in order. Okay, I understand that you are also forecasting, okay, and making your predictions as regards 2027 outcome for any political party, but notwithstanding, I would not want you to actually say that as a final submission, because you don't even know what might happen tomorrow. It is politics, my brother. It is politics. Anything, I mean, absolutely anything is possible. But Doctor, please, I would appreciate you can respond to that.
Address some of the things you raised.
Please go ahead.
You know, it's sad how people at times try to use politics in their analysis. Why is APC the only party that is not having a leadership crisis? Even after Ganduji's resignation? Why do they have a seamless process?
Okay, so...
Is Emergence as the national chairman too? Was it by convention? Was it? No.
No, it wasn't.
Okay.
Okay, so
you understand? So why is it all the opposition parties, why do they have leadership issues?
Okay, so I know you are not asking, of course, you're my guest, I was to ask a question, but to my best of knowledge, okay, the only thing I can say as regards my response to this particular one is that I think there is a proper understanding in terms of power shift in the APC. And the reason why I can say this is because, first, when you have a president in your party, if your party can produce a president and you are actually incumbent, you are the ruling party, okay, it is easy, or it is easier for that particular party's structure, the organogram, to be properly aligned. You know, you have the president who happens to be the leader of the party. Then you have the national chairman and all of that. So if the president is calling any shot, because he's a sitting president, everybody would like to, you know, bow.
Yeah.
Of course, for opposition party that does not have a president, it might be somewhat difficult. It's just this is just my own, I'm entitled to my opinion, but this is what I'm feeling. Okay, is Inaya still here? Hello?
I'm still here. I'm still very here. Now, your analyst asked the question, why is APC at peace for now?
Yes, he's asking you. Please go ahead.
Now, beautiful. Now, look at APC. Everybody has been whipped in line for the next election. Nobody wants to rock the boat, because if I remain in APC, there is a 100.1 chance that I will win the next election. So everybody is calm till after the next election. So everybody has been, no politicians, they look into the election. So they are calm, knowing that yes, if once we don't rock this boat, definitely we will win the election. But mark my word, as I tell you, after 2027 election, APC will be thrown into the biggest turmoil of their history.
You're also predicting that of APC.
They will not survive after 2027. Mark my word, just as I say it.
Okay, Inaya, before you go, I want to ask you a question, please.
Beautiful.
Inaya, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Hello, Inaya, can you hear me? Are you there?
I can hear you loud and clear.
I'd like to know your political party. Which party are you supporting?
I don't have any political party because they are a group of liars. They are a group of liars, and I don't think I can dent my image like that.
Okay.
I have a
very high reputation. Thank you so much, Inaya, for joining the show again. Okay.
God bless you. God bless you.
Okay, so in addition to what Inaya said, Doctor, what are the key elements of building a mass party, and how can ADC effectively implement this strategy?
Okay, so there's this popular saying in politics. They say, I'll use Yoruba and I'll not translate. It said, Kosi Bare Dason. It is Bare CB. So, and we translated that to everybody has value, even a nuisance has its value, which you call nuisance value. You know, so politics is, or political parties is always like an umbrella of all sorts of people. You have the followers, you have the leaders, you have the naysayers, you have the doubters, you have the optimists, you have the strategists. You just bring all walks of people from all walks of life into one party to achieve a goal. So saying, I don't know where he got his own analysis or his facts from, saying APC will go into extinction or they're going to chaos come 2027 or ADC is going to have this.
Anything is possible.
Because I'll tell you, see, the PDP crisis didn't start now. All what happened to PDP started from 2007. And
so that means everyone is still blaming the former president.
yeah,
Olusegun Obasanjo.
not everybody. From my own point of view,
that means you're still blaming Jonathan. You're still blaming every other person.
I'll just blame 3 people
Please go ahead.
for
Mention
the
their
crisis in PDP: Chief Olusegun Obasanjo,
names. Okay.
former President Goodluck Jonathan,
Okay.
and Wiki. Yes, on Wiki.
So why is the place of the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar?
No, okay. So
You don't feel it's also part of this particular threat that you're actually mentioning?
That's why I said the issue started from 2007.
Okay.
We all know the issue they had post 2003 election.
Of course.
And how His Excellency Atiku Abubakar was being chanted by his boss then. And we know what happened. They tried to be impeached, but I mean, they couldn't achieve that. But I mean, Obasanjo was able to push him out of the party, which led him to his old friend, the president.
Yes, of course.
You know, and they formed. Now I use the word. They formed the ACN.
As at the time.
As at that time, and he was the presidential candidate of the party. But after that election, he saw he couldn't achieve his dreams where he was, and he saw some foul play. But you know, he's a very magnanimous person. If you'd know him, he doesn't hold grudges, he doesn't hold biases or beef with anyone. And he went back to the PDP. Now, we had a president who was ill as at that time and passed on, which made the vice president then, His Excellency Goodluck Jonathan, emerge as the acting president and later substantive president. Now, going into that 2011 election, which he contested the primaries as well, there was an understanding.
Which was?
Which was power ideally should be in the north, because Yar'Adua did not complete his term.
Okay.
It was finished by Goodluck Jonathan. Everybody pleaded due to how he emerged, and it was like, oh, this guy's got sent and everything, you know, okay. And Obasanjo was part of the people that championed, you know, because let him go for a term, then it would go back to the north. Now, we had some sycophants who are usually around the corridor of power. I don't know how they got into Goodluck Jonathan's head. Initially was championing this one-term thing through the National Assembly. He didn't fly, and the next thing, he wanted to contest. Now, if he had gone to that election with the normal process, gone into primaries, and he won, I'm sure none of those governors and the former vice president, they would not have walked out of that convention.
Of course.
They wouldn't. You wanted consensus. You know, the consensus shouldn't come from you. It should come from the party saying, you've done well. We want you to go again.
Go again.
You know, so but you try to muscle this consensus thing. And it led to the loss in 2015. I tell you, if those governors had not walked out of that convention and with their people, he would have won. Look at the numbers that came from the north.
But when the same party, PDP, agreed for power to go to the south, why did Alhaji Atiku Abubakar?
Hold on, there was never a time. There was never a time. Hold on. Now, why I blame Goodluck Jonathan for the state of the party? After losing the election, he was the highest ranking officer or elected person in the party as of then, because His Excellency Chief Olusegun Obasanjo had turned his membership card.
He said,
and his successor was late. So, I mean, the next in line was His Excellency Goodluck Jonathan. He was meant to steady the affairs of the party. He was meant to lead the party, but he left the party.
He said he wanted peace.
Oh, really?
Yes.
You want peace.
He said he wanted peace.
After you've been
and that was the reason why he
president,
had to even call the late former president, okay, to congratulate him even before the declaration of the.
You could see.
Sorry, we have a call.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello, good evening. This is Aina, still on the line.
Okay, please go ahead.
Now, I want to counteract your analyst blaming Goodluck Jonathan for the woes of the PDP. How will you categorize that? Let's start with history. Obasanjo. You're blaming Obasanjo. The only thing I will blame Obasanjo that he laid a very poor foundation. And that is his foundation is what has been built upon that has wrecked Nigeria. Foundation of corruption, nepotism, disobedience to rule of law. And that has characterized ever since a generation. Now let's come over to Jonathan. Why Jonathan lost? When Atiku left the party, if you remember very well, Atiku left the party. It was in Wike that said Jonathan went to Atiku and pleaded with him, come back to the PDP. Help me to win this election. When I win this election, then you will have a bite of it.
I remember that particular period.
Guess what Atiku answered him? Atiku told him to resign so that he would run
yes,
for the party.
Yeah.
Now, please help me. Let's build an insinuation. If Atiku had returned back to the PDP, helped Jonathan to win that election, then just for 4 more years, if he was patient enough, 4 more years, tell me when the power goes to the north, tell me, I want us to look into the crystal ball and see the north. Who is viable enough to contest against Atiku during that election? If he was patient enough. If he was patient enough.
Can I? Okay, hold on. I'm going to say it's deeper. It's actually deeper than you think. The decision to leave the party was not solely Atiku's. There was a northern agenda. There was an arrangement, per se. So, I'll tell you some things. In 2012, the present president went to America with some group of people, apparently to do some PR for their party, and I'm looking for the right words to use, but basically they were there, and we know the events that came after that, which led to the American government holding meetings with northern governors and everything, and we saw it was a global thing. They had the West supporting the change of government and everything. So it was beyond Atiku coming and saying, if Atiku went back and the other governors did not come back, Jonathan wouldn't have won. Look at, Jonathan had a running mate in the former Vice President Nemadi Usman. What was Nemadi Sambo? What was his result in Kaduna? Look at the landslide victory the APC got in the north. So it was a no-show. As far as I'm concerned, there was no way Jonathan would have won that election. Already, he had reneged on their agreement. They had an understanding, which he went against, which was the issue they were battling. So it wasn't about Jonathan spending 8 years or doing second term and supporting the Atiku would come. No, it was basically based on principle. We had this agreement, and you reneged on the agreement. Are we sure that if I support you now, come 2020, whatever, you won't support someone else? So it was way beyond Atiku.
Okay.
He didn't walk out of that convention alone. He left with some other governors, and he wasn't in government. But you had 7 governors leave, But,
okay, so I'd like you to hold your thoughts.
So, okay, also, I just